Hello everyone and welcome to Shauna Stitches episode number 33. Today is April the 1st, 2018, which is both Easter and April Fool's Day. I'm not really celebrating either, so not because I really don't care about April Fool's Day, but yeah, I just don't have anyone to celebrate with. Glenn's at work and here I am podcasting, so I'm just happy to have the day off of work. I have a lot of things to tell you about today, which I'm really excited about. First off, I'm going to remember to tell you some things that I always forget to tell you. First off, thank you for those of you who are new for checking me out, and for returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back. If you like this video and want to be notified anytime I have a new video, please click the thumbs up and the subscribe button. That'd be great. And you can find me all kinds of places, everywhere as Shauna Stitches or Shauna Stitches podcast. That's Ravelry groups, where I have a group specifically for this podcast, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, of course. I hope I'm not forgetting any. Anyhow, I will just go ahead and tell you this right now. I actually started a blog. I used to have a blog a long time ago, just kind of about everything, but I have started a new one for Shauna Stitches, and I've already written show notes for this, so I can guarantee you there will be show notes for this episode, and the link to the blog will be down below, so click on that, and there are links to the projects I'm going to talk about, as well as a few other things. So I just realized that I spilled coffee all over my ironing board, which is what I have everything sitting on right now. So that's really awesome. Good way to start things out. All right. I have 4 finished objects total this week. 2 of them are teeny tiny and really don't count, but I mean, technically they are finished objects. So I'm going to tell you about them anyway. The first one I don't have here to show you. But I showed it as a works in progress last week, so I will insert some photos. It's the Scrappy Bias Shawl, which I knit out of 2 strands of Lotus yarns, 100% yak yarn, which, as I mentioned before, is discontinued. My first time working with lace weight, even though I did hold it double, I think it's absolutely beautiful. The Scrappy Bias Shawl is meant to use up scraps, obviously, per the name. And but I chose to use the yak yarn that I had, and used it up until I had almost used it all. This is what I have left, and I didn't weigh this specifically, but the pattern has you go to 200 stitches, and I stopped at 176. 1, because I was on a deadline to finish it, and 2, the rows were getting really long and I was over it, and like I said, I was almost out of yarn. So I think I have just enough to hold this double and put a square in my Cozy Memories blanket, as well as maybe do a pinwheel triangle as well, pinwheel scrap blanket triangle. It kind of worries me a little bit because this is 100% wool. I mean, even though it's yak, and it's definitely feltable, so I'm hesitant to put it in my blanket, but I think it'll be fine. I mean, I don't have any ideas about, putting it through the washer and dryer, although I'm not sure how to dry something like that. What I normally do with my hand knits is hand wash them and then run them through just the spin cycle on my washing machine. Because that really doesn't cause any agitation. It just basically sucks it up against the washing machine and spins it out. And I haven't had any issues doing that. Granted, well, no, I did that on the shawl. So on the shawl I knit this out of, and it came out fine. So I guess it would be absolutely fine to do that and then just lie it flat or something. I'm hoping to have a clothesline at some point, but I don't have any materials, or that isn't done yet, so maybe someday. In case you're wondering, I'm drinking black coffee, as I mentioned, which I spilled all over out of my Los Angeles mug. It's not bad. There's just like a coffee stain ring on my ironing board, so it should be fine. All right. I can't think of anything else to say about that. I would definitely knit that pattern again. It was super easy. I don't know. I guess one skein should get you a shawl big enough. The shawl was just wider than my wingspan. I'm close to 6 feet tall, so definitely big enough. And as you can see in one of the photos that I inserted, it wrapped around my neck nicely, and it was good. I didn't want to give it away. Anyway, I think I didn't really tell the whole story. I told some of it. Anyway, I gave it to the recipient. What day was it? Friday at work. And she absolutely loved it. She loved the story behind the yarn coming from another coworker that we both knew. And she started to tear up, which of course then I started to tear up. And I hate crying. I don't normally cry at all, so I had to leave the room. It's not bad. I know it is. Yes, okay, that's it for that. My next finished object is a test knit. This is the first time ever that I've done a test knit, and I absolutely loved it. It was so fun. I was homesick from work for 2 days this week, and those are the 2 days that I completed this project. Perfect sitting on the couch time. So there it is. It's a cowl. The pattern is by Naomi of Cozy Cute Knits on both Ravelry and Instagram. And what to say? The yarn is Blue Moon Fiber Arts. If this looks familiar, it's because I used the exact same yarn for my half oracle shawl. I had enough left, and obviously still have a bunch left. In fact, I think I still have like 40 grams of this one. This one is speckled particles, I think. Scattered particles, that's it. Scattered particles. This one is Help Us Rhonda. As you can see, they're all sparkle. Even the white one, if you couldn't tell. And this one, which I have the least left over of, is Twisted Fiber. I think I know it. It's just Twisted. Twisted, it's a yarn shop in Portland. It's their 10th anniversary color, which Blue Moon Fiber Arts dyed up specifically for them. And so I'm telling you, like, this doesn't look all that pretty, at least to me, in the skein. But look how it knits up. It's this color right here. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I absolutely love where every stitch is a different color, and oh, it's just gorgeous. Anyway, this is not blocked or washed yet. However, I don't think it looks too bad. I got to learn a new stitch, which is called Knit 4 Below, I think, which creates these little puffs, which is really cool. Obviously, there is a lace motif in the middle, and the rest is stockinette and ribbing. I'll see if I can try this on without messing up my hair too badly. Again, not washed or blocked, so it would look a little differently, but there it is on. I like that it's closer fitting because I really wanted something that's more, I mean, fashionable is one thing and that's nice, but I really want something to keep me warm. And I'd been wanting to knit a cowl for so long, so this was perfect timing. And I actually wore it yesterday when we took the dogs on a walk because it was sunny, but the wind was cold. So it was really nice for that. I just had, actually I have a pink jacket. I had the jacket up here and it just held it nice and close to my neck. So for me personally, especially because this isn't blocked out yet, I would not aggressively block this at all. I would want to do this a few stitches smaller to make it a little closer fitting. In fact, the cowl that I really want to knit the most is the sockhead cowl. So it's by the same designer as the sockhead hat, but it's a cowl and there's 4 inches of ribbing, stockinette, and then like another 4 inches of ribbing at the top. And that just seems like, A, you use a whole skein, so it's going to be pretty long, and it should fit really nice and close to the neck, which, you know, that's what I would like. But nothing wrong with this one. I absolutely love it. I would knit another one for sure. In fact, I just heard from Naomi this morning, and she asked me to test knit a DK weight version of this, but I had to decline because I have no DK weight in my stash at all, which makes me really sad. And I will explain later why I'm not going to have any DK weight in my stash, but that is for later. Yeah, so what's next for these yarns, because I like to use up every last little bit. This one, because there's so much, I'm gonna knit a cozy memory square. I'm gonna start a pinwheel scrap square, which I'm so tempted to do another one like I did for my So Faded sweater where the whole square is this. That may happen. And then the rest will go into my crochet granny stripe blanket. But this one I would like to save, you know, about 20 grams. Maybe even this one, I can't remember how many's in here. But if I can save like 20 grams for cuffs, toes, and heels on a pair of socks, that would be really cool. Because I have a whole other skein of this. And I can't remember if the other one is sparkle or not. But I don't mind using up all this because I have another one, which I actually bought at the anniversary sale. So that's kind of exciting. Okay, so, oh yes, my last two finished objects. You're gonna laugh. Here they are. So what's so funny about this is I spilled coffee, but I didn't have it sitting on this. Otherwise, this would have a big stain on it. So Glenn and I, in our living room, we have little end tables at the end of each side of our couch where we, you know, put our cups and whatever else. If we're reading, we have books or, you know, whatever. And the coasters that we were using, they would get liquid on them and then basically suction cup to the bottom of the glass. And then you pick up your glass and they'd fall off or they'd stay stuck. It's just super annoying. So I thought, you know, I have cotton in my stash. I'm just going to whip up two quick little coasters. And these are really pretty. It's a free pattern on Ravelry called, I think, Spring Flower Coaster. Sounds right. Again, it's in the show notes with links and everything. But yeah, I really like them. I have been using them for my coffee, except for in here. And I haven't spilled on them, so one of these days I'll learn. That was Knit Picks Dishy in the cabin color, if you're curious. What else? I think that's it. Well, it's definitely it for finished objects. I have a work in progress that is still a work in progress, and that is my Zwag sweater. I'm going to try and show you the front this time. Here we go. There's the front, and it's flipping up. I have tried this on, because you see I have a sleeve finished, although not ends woven in, but the sleeve is finished. So when I tried this on, it seems like this isn't going to flip up. I hope it doesn't flip up, but it's also not as wide as it's going to be once it's blocked. So I still don't know about the hem. I'm pretty much in the mental space of once it's washed and blocked, ends woven in, all that, and I try it on. If I don't like how it's fitting, I will rip out the hem. I started out very much as a product knitter where I just wanted to finish things, and while I still want to finish things, like I'm really finding I'm a lot more into the process now. I love learning new things. Like I loved learning the stitch on this. I like things that are a challenge. So, you know, when my Roomba ate my sweater and I immediately fixed it, it would have been very easy if I was just a project knitter to set it aside and start something new. But I really, really want this to be finished, and I'm willing to put in the work that it takes to get it there. So I know this is complete coincidence, but I love how both, how both the body and the sleeve kind of changed color the same. I think that's so cool. I ended up doing 7 pattern repeats for the sleeve and 60, which is 6 inches, for me anyway, my gauge, 60 rounds of 1x1 rib for the cuff. That's a lot, guys. The pattern originally calls for 5 inches. I tried it on when I had 5 inches there, and I can't remember. It probably hit me here, and I just felt like, yeah, I want it to be longer, so kept going. And I told you guys before, it's very obvious where I started a third ball of yarn in this sleeve, and I'm so thankful I did it when I did, because this is what I have left of those 2 balls of yarn. And without that third color in there, or third skein, because it's the same color, but without that third ball of yarn, even though this kind of looks harsh, it would have looked even worse. It wouldn't have been pretty. So anyway, I have finished 2 of the 7 arm repeats here, and obviously have not started on the cuff at all. I still can't wait to finish this. I thought it was going to be finished this week, but you know, obviously with the cowl and other distractions, it hasn't happened. There have been a couple days that I just haven't worked on this. Sleeve Island is not fun, guys. Why is it that a sleeve can feel like it takes longer than knitting a body? I really don't understand, because Glenn's socks are just as many stitches around, granted with a smaller needle, but that doesn't matter because the effort's the same. And it really probably is just as many rows, maybe even more, but there's just the whole flipping around of the sweater. And I can't remember who, but someone commented on my Instagram that they, you know, work half the round or whatever and then actually just twist the sleeve back around. So I've been doing that, and I think it does make it faster, but it's still just a long process. Sleeve Island is no joke, you guys. So anyway, these are both 1 gram. So I have a total of 2 grams. This will go in my granny stripe blanket, because I'll have plenty of the third ball left over to put into cozy memories and all that. So speaking of that, that is, I have yarn stuck to me. Can you see that? Speaking of that being the third ball, that is the third and only skein that I'm using of the Knit Picks Chroma. Granted, there's about 60 or maybe 65 grams of the Quince & Co. turn for the lace section. And I don't know that I'll have 60 grams left of this, but it just really makes me wonder, you know, in the future, is 3 skeins enough? I don't know, because this I'll definitely have 1 whole extra skein, which is really nice because I can think of a million different ways to use it, so it's not a problem. That is, oh no, I do have another work in progress. See, this is the problem with, I made my show notes, but I'm not actually looking at my show notes. So we went and saw Ready Player One yesterday. I've never read the book. Glenn had me start listening to the audiobook, and I just didn't love it. So I was skeptical about going to see the movie, but I actually really, I won't say I loved it, but it was a good movie. Lots of action, and it kept you going. But blast from the past, I worked on Glenn's birthday socks. Those of you who have been watching know that Glenn's birthday is in November 29th. And he has 1 finished sock, which I gave him on his birthday. And doesn't have a pair to wear. And the Blazers are doing pretty good, from what I hear. Like, I don't follow every game or anything, but it'd be really nice to get these to him so that he can, you know, support his team if they happen to make it all the way. This just got dog drool on it. Yuck. So let's see. When I started the movie, I was just at the end of this black stripe here. So starting the red, and I worked on the rest of the leg all the way to the bottom here. And I think, based on the other sock, I haven't counted rows, which is how I do it, but that should be almost the whole leg, which is why I stopped. Yeah, exactly. I'm just getting ready to put the heel in. So I didn't want to keep going and have to rip out, because that'd be super lame. So yeah, he might actually have a finished pair of socks. I don't know what it is, but my sock mojo has been crap this year. And I'm okay with it. I mean, he has plenty of socks. I have plenty of socks. It's not like a big rush. I've definitely felt like knitting more sweaters because it's new. Like, I'm learning new techniques, and I really like that I can find something challenging, because although I can do different sock patterns, like, socks are not super challenging to me, and I definitely need that mind stimulation, but also like the ability, like, for stress relief. If you have to think so hard on a pattern or a technique, then you don't have as much time to stress about daily stuff, I think. Anyway, it's worked so far. Don't get me wrong, I still like socks. I'm still going to knit socks. They just haven't really been working on a lot of socks. So as you can see behind me, there's still a lot of socks to come, for sure. Okay, guys, so that is my finished objects, my works in progress. Now I'm going to talk about some acquisitions, and I actually do have quite a few. I mentioned last podcast that I had a Knit Picks order coming and that I would show you this week, so that's what's come in. I have sweater quantities for, I can't do the math, maybe 6 or 7 sweaters in this order. And big shocker, most of it is Knit Picks Chroma Twist, which is the exact same yarn as my Zweig sweater is knit out of. So hopefully I don't get tired of that look, because obviously it's, sorry, dog's walking on the feet of the ironing board. So anyway, like I was saying, it's not a solid, but the colors that I tried to pick are more solid than some. In fact, I was going to grab this. So like, these are Knit Picks Chroma. This has been in my stash for a while. But you see how different these colors are? Like, if I were to knit this up, it's going to look very different all throughout. This one a little bit less. Just FYI, this one's called Get Your Neon, and this one is called Sugar Cookie. But, so like I'm saying, I try to get colors that were more like tonals of one color, if that makes sense. And their site is not the easiest for determining that, but I did my best. And I'm happy with my choices. So the first one is called Fog Bank. My lighting is not great today, guys, because it's raining outside, and the overhead lighting just was like too much shadow. So this is what we have. Anyway, Fog Bank. It's got grays and cream and almost like a hint of brown in there. So appropriate for the Oregon coast, by the way. And I'm going to show you all 4 of them, which 4 is the total I bought, just because with this yarn it looks so different when it is all skeined up, so you can kind of really see the different colors in there. Anyway, so yeah, 4 skeins of that will definitely make me a fingering sweater of some sort. I don't have specific plans. I will say, I'm not going to show it to you, but I have 5 skeins of natural undyed. So I'll either use it that color or possibly dye something up, but I don't have plans for it yet. Second color is Knit Picks Chroma Twist in the color Weather Vane, which is a really pretty multi-blue. This one reminds me a lot of the lakefront color for my Zweig. Just in the color variations. That one has a really pretty light blue spot in the back. There we go. Matches my shirt really well right now. Okay, next color. This one actually looks a lot like the Sugar Cookie one that I just showed you, but it's called Drawing Room. I guess I should have been showing you guys the labels, but I did tell you the names. So this one, the color is not showing up very well, but it's got some almost baby blue to a light teal and lavender and cream all mixed up. There, that's pretty good there. So again, some kind of fingering weight sweater, I don't know what. And the last color, which I love because apparently I have been loving green lately, it's called Leaf. And this one is obviously the most similar to Lakefront. but it doesn't have any of the blue. So this one is very much like Weather Vane, which was all blues. This one is all greens, and I love it. Look at that nice green color there. So yeah, so I tried to pick some colors that were neutral enough, because I tend to go for those crazy skeins like this, because this will make really fun socks, but I can't see me wearing something like this as a sweater. So I tried to really, I guess, make some hard decisions for me, because I'm obviously drawn towards those really bright colors, but would I wear them? Probably not. So I'm really excited to figure out what those are going to be. And then I bought my very first ever linen yarn. It's a linen cotton mix by Knit Picks called Lindy Chain. This is in the color Celery. And there is what the yarn looks like. So I have 5 skeins of this. It's 180 yarns. It's 180 yards per 50 gram ball. My plan for this, or maybe the other color, or maybe both, I don't know, is I want to knit the Tegna top, also by Caitlin Hunter, so much. I just love the way it looks, and I've been wanting to work with linen for a long time, and I'm really excited. So that's the Celery. The other one that I got 5 of is the Turmeric, and it's the exact same yarn in this really pretty orangey tan golden yellow color. So these might both be Tegnas, and they might be something else. So I don't know, but one for sure is, because I'm in love with that top big time. So that is all the sweater quantities that I got. Yes, except for baby sweaters. So originally I had this color of Knit Picks Bravo Worsted in my cart, and it's not showing up the right color on the screen. It looks really blue. It's in real life. Yeah, it's not showing up right. It's a really, I'm going to say tealy blue, but that's not quite right either. I don't even know what to call this. They call it cornflower. Maybe that's right, but it's hard to describe. Anyway, this was originally in my cart, and my plan was, one of my coworkers, his girlfriend is pregnant. They're going to have a little boy, and I really want to knit the antler cardigan along with an antler hat and some kind of booties maybe. So I have 3 skeins of this. Well, Glenn looked at my color choice. He's like, no, I don't like that one. You should get this one, which is also not showing up right at all. It's something like that. This is called Solstick Heather. Yeah, that's pretty accurate here. Not quite, but close. So I got 3 skeins of this and forgot to take this out of my cart. Try to see if they work. It doesn't seem to be correcting the color too much. Anyway, oh sorry, didn't mean to flip you guys off. Not my intention. So yeah, so now I don't know which one I'm going to use. I probably will use this because the baby is due in July, I think. And I'm going to knit this in the like 6-month size so that by the time it's winter, he'll be able to wear it. And this seems like a good winter color over this. So I'm not sure what this will be, but I imagine more people will have babies because that seems to be the way things go. So yeah, so antler hat, antler cardigan, and some booties if I have enough left over, which I should. I definitely am excited to get the antler cardigan pattern because I do believe it's by Tin Can Knits. I do believe that their one pattern goes all the way through adult sizes as well. And I do have yarn that I originally bought from, it was for a Craftsy class. I can't remember the name of the sweater, but it was the one that the grocery girls were doing. And I never knit it. And so I think, granted this could change for sure, but I think that's going to be an antler cardigan. It's in kind of like a tealy green color. Sorry, I'm looking over there because it's over there, but I can't really get to it right now. So I think somewhere down the line that will be an antler cardigan. It's so hard to choose though because I truly only have one, well, I really almost have no worsted weight yarn anyway, but it's the only sweater quantity of worsted weight that I have for sure. So I feel like whatever I make out of it, it needs to be good. And I think the Antler cardigan is good. I just don't know if I will want it in that teal color, but I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, so that is all my acquisitions and all the knitting stuff. So now I'm going to talk about something else. I have a book to review. So I read it digitally, so I will insert a photo. I think it'll be on this side. I will insert a photo of the book cover. And I heard about this book from my so-called Handmade Life, which is a knitting podcast here on YouTube, which I absolutely love. Check my show notes. It's linked down there. Anyway, she is all about simple living and slowing life down and being very mindful about everything. And this is something that I've been trying to do really for a couple of years now, but something that I want to do even more. And I say a couple years because a couple years ago, at least a couple of years ago, I read Marie Kondo's Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and I really liked it. I took right to it. Started out right away with clothes, which took me a couple days, and I got rid of a ton. But those of you who are familiar with that book know that they talk about something about sparking joy. And I mean, I have a lot of things in my life that are necessary that don't spark joy. I have to keep them. And then I have certain things that really spark a lot of joy, and you can't have them all, right? So like my yarn stash sparks a lot of joy. I could keep buying yarn because it sparks so much joy, right? Every single yarn purchase, you kind of get that little thrill. You think of all the projects you can make with it. It's exciting, it's fun, all that good stuff. But then, so the book I'm talking about is called The Year of Less. And it has a super long title beyond that, but it's The Year of Less is the main title. The rest of it talks about spending less, giving away belongings, and realizing that life is more than shopping or the items that you shop for. So that pretty much summarizes the book. It's by Kate Flanders, who I really love her voice in the book. It is probably the easiest read I've had in a long time. And I haven't been a huge reader in the last couple of years, but I used to read all the time, like especially before I started crochet and knitting. That's what I did in my off time. I read. And so, lately I've felt like I have to make a decision. And for me, I love to knit. So there's no doubt about it. Like I'm going to knit more than I'm going to read. Well, this one was nice because I was able to read it on my iPad screen while I knit this. I could do the stockinette sections while I read. And part of me is like, it sucks because reading, it slows down my reading while I'm knitting, and it slows down my knitting while I'm reading. But they're two things that I really do enjoy. So for me, I think it's a nice compromise. Like I would never read while I was working on my Zwag sweater because there's so much I have to keep track of and keep track of those cable rows and all that sort of thing. But for like a sock or something like that, super easy to just read and I can't talk, to read and knit at the same time. So anyway, she talks a lot about she was an alcoholic as well, which I don't have that problem. I'm not blacking out or anything like that, but it's a really good book. It definitely makes you look at possessions differently and at your spending differently. So for her, she had racked up like $30,000 of debt. Some of it was student loans, and a lot of it was she was purchasing alcohol and just going out and spending money on things that she didn't need and maxed out all of her credit cards. So I don't have that problem. I don't have any debt except for my house, and I've already started tracking my spending, but I know I can do better when it comes to spending, and I would truly love to still get rid of more stuff from my house beyond what I got rid of doing the life-changing magic of tidying up. So for Kate, I think her percentage that she wanted to save each month was 50%. I don't have a good percentage picked of what I would like to save every month, but I know that I can do better than what I am doing. And that being said, like as far as yarn purchases go, those are going to come to a stop. So a few months ago, I ended my very first yarn diet, which I made it to just over 180 days. So that's 6 months. And I absolutely was amazed I could make it that long. And it definitely at the time changed my mindset about buying yarn. And quite honestly, the only reason I bought so much of the Knit Picks Chroma was because I saw that I could get a sweater quantity for less than $30, which to me is amazing. And now that I have those sweater quantities saved up in my stash, I'm not going to buy any more until I use up what I have. So that's one big thing that they talk about in the book. Kate mentions that, just like so many of us, you see that sale at Victoria's Secret on lotion and you stock up because it's on sale, and then like maybe you never even use it. Like I know I have so much that I've sort of stockpiled, and I'm terrible about putting it on other than my face. Like the rest of me kind of just, I don't know. I'm not good. It takes time. I don't enjoy it. So yeah, it just kind of sits around. But yet, if I were to go to Victoria's Secret and it was on sale again, I would probably buy some more. You know what I mean? So she talks about stuff like that and being mindful of what you purchase and only purchasing as much as you need right now. So for instance, shampoo and conditioner, which I don't really stockpile anymore, but I have in the past because you see it on sale and you think, oh, I'm going to get this. And so maybe you forget that you have it. And so the next time you see it on sale, you buy some more. And then you just have like all this stuff laying around. And as much as you may not realize, stuff can be really stressful. It takes up room. Things look messy. Like right now, my craft room is a huge mess. Like that's probably what I'm going to do when I'm done here is clean up this room, because I haven't even podcast in here lately because it's a huge mess. My quilt for my niece has been at a standstill for probably 2 months now. I just need to work on it, but I haven't. And, things just get chaotic. And so to reduce the stuff in your life helps you kind of get the chaos under control. I know one thing that I would really like, which is something I don't have total control over, is I would definitely like to watch a lot less TV. But Glenn likes to have it on. So anyway, when I first purchased this book, I bought it for Kindle and didn't realize that Glenn was signed in to my computer because he's never signed into my computer, and I just bought it. And it wasn't a big deal. It was $1.99. But I realized it immediately, and I was like, oh, crap, So then I told him what happened, and I went and bought it for my own Kindle. And I read the whole book, and I told him when I was done, I was like, it's such a good book. I was like, you have it already. You should really read it. So he read it in like a day, and it really resonated with him as well, which makes me happy because he self-admittedly is not an organizer. He likes to collect certain things, and it definitely, I think, opened his eyes to a lot of issues as well. So I think like the next day after he read it, he donated 78 books to our library, and it's something that we're both really going to work on. So I'm excited to see how much I can save. I don't plan on getting rid of any of my yarn because I really am going to use it, but I plan on using what I have before I buy anything else. I think so. I'm not going to say I will never buy anything before I use what I have, but I have certain rules in mind. And that's one of the things I talk about at the end of the book is you're supposed to write your rules down. I haven't written any rules down yet. But I definitely have some rules in mind. And that being, if I start a project and say, like for me, I like using 9-inch circulars for sleeves, because if I had to magic loop the sleeves of my sweaters, I would lose it. So if I am working on a sweater and I'm already almost done with the body and I know that I don't have the size needles for the sleeves, then I will order the sleeves from Amazon Prime because they get here in like 2 days. It's not a big deal, and I know it's something I'm going to use. And then the next time that I have a sweater that uses that size, I already have them. You know, it's something I'm going to continue to use. You know, I think one of the things I want to make for Christmas this year are a bunch of hats for family members because I know it's something they'll use. So I would have to get yarn for that because I don't have any worsted weight yarn. Things like that, things that I know for sure I'm going to use, not things to go in my stash, not things that are just going to sit there. So that's what I'm thinking about that, which is why, you know, I'm not going to have a lot of acquisitions, but hopefully I have some really great projects to show you guys. And you may see some really interesting mishmashed sweaters just because obviously once I use my sweater quantities, you know, I would like to use maybe some of this other stuff, especially my indie dyed yarns for things like a So Faded, but I'm guessing maybe they won't fade quite so well. You know, it could be interesting, but I think it'll be fun, and I really am excited about saving more money. Currently, I told you guys I do track all of my spending. I hope I'm not rambling on too long, you guys. I'm just trying to explain things, and I'm super excited about it, so hopefully it's not too boring. Anyway, I'm wrapping it up, I promise. So I track all my spending, and it tells me what categories I spend my money on, and it tells me percentages and all that. So I've been doing that for like over a year. And everything I have left over at the end of the month, I split 3 ways. I put money in savings, I put money in investments, and I put extra money on my house payment. So all important things to me because I want to retire someday. That would be nice. So I'm really excited to see those numbers go up and hopefully see the percentage of each month income go up. So it'll be a really interesting experiment, and I can't wait to see how that turns out. Well, you guys, thank you again so much for joining me today. I hope that if what I talked about that book at all hits home for you guys, or you're curious, check it out. For the Kindle, it's only a $1.99 download, and you can probably also get it from your local library. It's really good. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon and hopefully show you my finished sweater. I said that last week, but it's going to happen, guys. I promise. So yes, that and whatever new project I start, probably a baby antler sweater. All right, guys, this is a long one. Thank you so much for hanging in there. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.